Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever the case may be in your part of the world. I am Justin Emo Halliwell, a very tired Justin Emo Halliwell. But I am just doing a quick live stream because I am busy doing stuff. And a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of chat. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. So as I told you, towards the middle of October, I told you guys Mike wasn't doing good. He was in and out of the hospital like 3 times. But the last 2 weeks he's been all right. I probably shouldn't have said that, but he's been all right. But due to the way his health is getting, due to the way he, you know, his whole situation of being sick and all that stuff, his niece really wants to come down. So his niece is on her way down here right now. So, you try to... when you have family members coming over, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to run around the house, and you're like, oh, this has got to be put away, that's got to be put away, this has got to be cleaned, this has got to be organized, you got to get the guest room ready, you got to wash blankets, you got to wash pillows, you got to do tons and tons of laundry. That's what I'm still doing. I'm doing a couple more blankets right now. So I'm doing all kinds of laundry, trying to get ready for them to come down, and they're on their way. Did I put this on fucking private? Because I don't see myself live. Uh-oh. Did I really? Did I start the wrong stream again? No, I started the right stream. Alright, let's see what's going on in the studio, because it's not showing me live. Did I start the wrong button? Oh, it's showing me. Oh, how did it get on unlisted? It's not supposed to be on unlisted. Alright, so you'll have to watch the beginning part of the video over again to know what I just said. Do we have any viewers? I can't see. Oh no, we didn't have any viewers either because I didn't set it right. Sorry guys, that was my fault. And now that I said it the wrong way, probably nobody's gonna come in because nobody knows I'm here. So we're like a phantom in the night. Alright, so let's go over here to this page again. Alright, I want to go back to my channel, view channel. Alright, I probably didn't spell the title of the video right now, but I don't care. I don't care at the moment. I don't care if I spelled it right or if I spelled it wrong, but when Monograph goes live, he's always like, oh, here we go, guys. Let's see who's the first one to type in the class. Whoever's the first one to type in the class. Let's see who the first people are. We're going to have a little chatty do. That's how Monograph usually starts his show. So I try to name it, a little chatty do. But I don't remember how he spells the chatty do part. But I know Monograph uses that all the time. So back to what I said, because I fucked up and I made the video unlisted. So as you know, in October it was a little bit rocky with Mike's health and everything. We didn't know what was going on with Mike. He was in and out of the hospital. Last couple of weeks he's been doing good. Um, his recent bouts with going in and out of the hospital in late October uh, really scared his niece. It didn't make her happy that he was in and out of the hospital, so she's like, that's it. I'm going to see him. I'm going to go see my Uncle Mike. So they're on their way. They're getting ready to come down here. And I'm not saying how they're fucking arriving, if they're doing it by train or bus or plane. I'm not saying how they're getting here, but the only thing that sucks though is they arrive in a city 2 hours away from me at 7 in the morning. So that means tomorrow morning, Emo's gonna get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and pick up Mike's niece and husband. Okay, as they arrive into my state 2 hours away, they're not gonna go up and get them. They are coming down. Until I believe they're coming down for a week. I think they either go back next Monday or Tuesday. Mike and his niece haven't seen each other in about 10 years. Okay, they talk on the phone all the time. I mean, they see each other all the time on Facebook Messenger. They get on that Facebook Messenger and they just talk and talk and talk for hours and hours and hours on the good old Facebook, the video chat on Facebook. Have a good old time doing that, but the last time they physically seen each other was about 10 years ago. So she's coming down. So that means we're doing an early Thanksgiving on Thursday. So to add, I gotta get the house ready. I gotta get the guest room ready. I gotta do all kinds of laundry. I gotta go pick them up. And then Mike's doing the other. While I'm doing that stuff, Mike's doing the other stuff, making the banana cream pie, making the chocolate pie, making all kinds of cakes and cookies. He's been doing that the last few days downstairs. Baking all sorts of things because he wants to have like a Thanksgiving Day spread a week early. Because they're gonna go back home, and they're just gonna get back home in time to have the Thanksgiving in Maine. Okay, she'll just get back in time to have Thanksgiving at her mother's in Maine. So she's actually having 2 Thanksgiving dinners by coming down here. So I don't really call it Thanksgiving. I don't really celebrate Thanksgiving because I don't like how the Native Americans were persecuted. I never liked the whole cowboys and the other word you're not supposed to say anymore because it's some people consider it racist. Some people consider it insultful to Native Americans. Everybody knows which word I'm saying. If you grew up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, as a kid, you probably played cowboys and the other word that I'm not going to say to be politically correct. So I'm like pulling my hair out, trying to get ready for an early Thanksgiving, but I really don't celebrate Thanksgiving because I don't like what happened to the Native American people. I don't like it. So, but that's what I'm doing. So in between doing laundry, in between cleaning the house, I thought I would stop for a little bit and let you guys know what I'm kind of doing for the holiday. But yeah, we're not. So we're gonna have turkey this Thursday instead of next Thursday. Everybody's gonna have their turkey next Thursday. but we're going to have it a week early because the niece is coming down. So, yeah. But I don't know. Sometimes with the way Mike's health has been, I'm wondering if this is going to be his last holiday season. I hate to say that, but and I think the niece is worried about the same thing because she's like, she wanted to come down during the summer, and then they got into situations where they couldn't come down, and she kept putting it off, and she kept putting it off, and she could. And then when he went in and out of the hospital 3 times in October, she's like, I got to see him, okay? Because if he was to go and she never came down here to see him, she would live with that guilt for the rest of her life. She'd be like, why didn't I do it while I had the chance, okay? I'll give you another example of what I'm talking about a little bit, and you can relate to it. It's not quite the same, but it's still the same analogy. I like Chuck Berry. Okay, I really like Chuck Berry. I loved his music as a kid. I really liked Chuck Berry's style. I liked his music and everything else. Well, later in years, when he got up to his 80s and when he got up to his 60s, like between 60s and 80s, he rebuilt the Cosmopolitan Club. The Cosmopolitan Club was one of the clubs where Chuck Berry kind of got his start. And by the late 80s, early 90s, the place was a dump. And he brought the Cosmopolitan Club back to St. Louis. And he had that for a while, and then he opened up another nightclub in the St. Louis area. And one night a month, Chuck Berry would play at his clubs. And they wouldn't fucking announce it because they didn't want the place to be mobbed. They wouldn't announce it ahead of time. You had to keep watching his clubs, and then the last thing you knew, all of a sudden, they would give you like 2 weeks' notice. 2 weeks from tonight, Chuck's gonna be at the Cosmopolitan. And I kept saying to my mother, and I kept saying to Mike, I want to see Chuck Berry before he's dead. Never had the money to go out to St. Louis. Never took the opportunity to go to one of Chuck Berry's clubs. Never got the chance to meet the guy. So now when I think about it, that was a missed opportunity. So I'm just relating that to this. So would I have do I regret not going out there and seeing Chuck Berry when I had a chance? Now I had a chance. Now the Who's retired. I had a chance to go see the Who on August 30th. I said in Lady Di's chat I wanted to go see the Who. But by the time I figured out how far it would cost me in gas, where I was, and then I was going to sleep in the car. I wasn't even going to get a hotel. And I tried to figure out how much money I had, and it just wasn't feasible for me to go to Madison Square Garden on August 30th and see the Who. Now if Daltrey dies, I'm going to feel like a piece of shit because I never got the chance to go see him the last time he was at Madison Square Garden. So you see what I'm saying? I am doing everything. Denise is doing everything in her power. I'm doing everything in my power to make this trip work, because if Mike was to go and she didn't get to see Mike one more time, she would regret it for the rest of her life. And I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do that I don't want to do that to her. And so we're having an early Thanksgiving, so I hope everybody out there, like I said, I'm not attacking trolls today. I'm trying. I'm not even looking at the chat, but I will read through in a minute. I don't even want to ban anybody today in this live stream. I'm just doing a peaceful, relaxed live stream. I'm keeping it real. I'm just letting everybody know how I'm spending my my holiday season a little bit early. Because she's, like I said, the niece and her husband are coming down. I just don't like that I have to get up at 5 in the morning to go pick them up tomorrow. Other than that, but wait, it gets worse. It gets worse. When they go back, Emo's gonna be really tired when they go back, because guess what? I gotta leave here at 10 o'clock at night. They get on their transportation at midnight, so you gotta remember, it's a 2-hour drive from here to there. So I gotta leave here at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, get them up there by midnight. They get on their mode of transportation, I believe 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Then I drive back here. So that means I'm not going to get back here until like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. So I'm going to be dragging ass next Monday. I already know next Monday is going to kill me. So I'm glad his niece is coming down. I'm glad they're going to get a chance to see each other. I just don't like the arrival and departure time. But like anything else, you know, you got to take the good with the bad, right? You got to take the good with the bad. So, but I gotta do more cleaning and do all that shit and get ready, because the house is not gonna clean itself. So I appreciate you guys listening to this and let me share what's going on. But that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to have an early Thanksgiving, and I don't see why the visit would go bad or anything. Not hopefully not, but I'm not trying to think of that side of it. But like I said, the arrival time and the departure time sucks for them, but hey, it's the only times that we're available. Now everybody's gonna say, well, why do I gotta go pick them up? But well, the niece's husband has never driven out of the state of Maine. The niece's husband, Mike's niece's husband, has never driven on an expressway before. And he's like, I don't know if I can handle 95. I don't know if I can handle this route over here. I don't know if I can handle that road. So he's like freaking out. And then he was going to try to get one of his buddies to drive him down, which would have meant I would have had his niece, the husband, and one of the friend that was going to be the driver, the limit driver, so to speak. And then the last minute, the one that was going to drive him down here backed out. So now they had to come up, and now they're coming down by a mode of transportation that I'm not going to say right now. Okay. So that's why I gotta pick him up, because like I said, he's never driven out of Maine. He's never driven on 95. He doesn't even know what a freeway is. Okay? And he's like, I don't know if I can handle driving on an expressway like that. And I can understand, because this is their first time they have left Maine and went so far away from home. And I get what he's saying. If he's not used to the highway, I don't blame him. Let somebody else do the transportation, and you just sit in the seat and enjoy the ride, okay? you know, but there are actually people that will grow up in the city and they'll never leave the city. There's people in New York City that have lived in New York City their whole life. So they know how to go to everywhere in New York City by the subway. They know how to do the taxi system. They know how to do all of this stuff. And then have that same person who's lived in New York City all their life go to Tulsa, Oklahoma, just to throw a name out there. Are they going to know how to get around in Tulsa, Oklahoma when they've never been there before? So it's like strange. This is all strange to him. So I don't blame him for freaking out. Because, like I said, he's never driven on highways before. Except for the only time he's driven on the highway is when you got to do because is when he said the last time he was on the highway was when he got his license. Because in Maine, when you get your driver's license, the driver instructor will take you out to the Maine Turnpike, which is AKA 95, and you have to do 8 to 10 hours on the highway in order to get your license. So, in a way, he's kind of been on 95 when he got his license. But he's never been on the highway again because where they live in Maine, there is no highways. Okay, it's 2-lane roads like Route 1 and shit. So he's not used to highways. Now, I'll give you another example of sometimes you do shit just to pass and you never do it again. I never liked parallel parking, okay? Speaking about another thing that's on the driver's test if you're in Maine or any other state. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to pull up next to the vehicle and then back in. Parallel park, back in, and park in the space. Well, I'm one of these guys that if I can't drive into a space, I don't do it. I've only parallel parked once in my life. That was on my driver's test. Pulled up next to the car, pulled up to the car next to me, alongside of it, looked in the rearview mirror, looked out physically looked at the mirror, looked at the 2 mirrors, made sure the signal was on before I even stopped, backed into the space, you know how you do this and you back into the space, and pull in, and had the driver instructor tell me, Emo, you did a good job parallel parking. Well, that was the one and only time I parked like that. I have never parked like that again since getting my license. Just like he only used the freeway for the fucking, limited amount of time that you're required to get your license, and then he didn't use it anymore. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what he did. I'm one of those guys, I'll go around the block 15 times. I don't back into spaces. If I can't see a space right there and pull into it like this and just go in, I don't do it. Because the right way to do it is you parallel park to a fucking, you stop next to a car that's already in the spot, and you're supposed to back in. Well, I don't like backing up. So if I can't drive into a space, I'll go around and around and around and around and around. Matter of fact, I'll give you one of the worst places that you can park in my town. And I'm not going to say the name of the place. The hospital here is the worst place to park. See, because at least when I go out of town to my cancer doctor, which is also at a different hospital in another city, far, far away, at least that hospital has a parking garage. Our local hospital here doesn't have a parking garage. So if you doctor gives you a slip to have your blood drawn, you can expect to be rotating around the hospital parking lot a good hour and a half to an hour to an hour and a half, just driving around the hospital parking lot till you find a spot. And our hospital where we are here is owned by the same hospital where I get my cancer treatment. And I said, you know what, you need? Every time I go in there and I talk to the receptionist and stuff, I said, you guys need to do what you do at your parent hospital. You need to level this fucking parking lot, and you need to build a 4 or 5 story parking garage. But no, every time I go to the local hospital, every time I went to go see Mike, drive around the parking lot for a fucking hour looking for a fucking spot. Every time I go to do blood work, drive around for an hour. So, one of my other doctors, right? My regular physician, okay? Their office is right across the street from the hospital. And my physician across the street from the hospital has a nice sized parking lot. So what I usually do, and because she closes her office at 5 o'clock, if I need to go to the hospital to visit Mike or something, and he's in the hospital, I usually go like around 5 o'clock to visit him, and I'll park across the street in my doctor's office parking lot, so I don't have to go around and around and around and around and around and around. And then to add more insult to injury at the hospital, they put in 10 fucking parking spots for electric vehicles. And the security guards at the hospital are really dicks. If anybody parks in those spots other than an electric car, you'll get towed out of the hospital parking lot. So I'll go to that hospital, and I'll be doing rounds in the parking lot over an hour trying to find a fucking parking spot. But guess what? All 10 of those motherfucker electric parking spots won't have a fucking car in them. Every fucking time I can't find a parking spot at that fucking hospital, nobody's in the electric cars. But somebody had a dim bulb idea. We already have a parking lot that's fucked up. Let's take 10 more spaces and put it in for electric car. You know, this is the insanity I go with stupid people around here. Okay? So they'll send me a fucking survey every time I go to the hospital. How would you rate your experience with our hospital? And I always write it in big letters on the letter when I send it in the mail. Tear down the parking lot and build a parking garage. Not happy with parking. Maybe one of these days they'll get off their ass and do it. But when you're going to drive around a fucking parking lot for hours and hours, Jesus Christ. But, you know, I don't even know how we got on this tangent of the conversation. I guess when I was talking about parallel parking. But like I said, he was worried about coming down on the highway because he's never driven on the highway other than the few hours that you are required to drive when you get your license. You know? Because I don't remember how many hours. I want to say it was like 8 or 10 hours on the highway is what I did when I was trying to get my driver's ed. But some people do that. They'll do the basic requirements to pass the test, and then they'll never do that shit again. Just like I took, for example, his niece's husband probably got on the highway, did what he had to do to get his license, and then after that never went on the highway again. Just like with me. I did whatever I had to do to parallel park one time to get my license, and after that, I never fucking parallel parked again. And everybody says, oh, driving into a space is the wrong way of doing it. But that's the way and if I can't get into a space good enough, I'll go around the parking lot for hours. That's just the way I am. That's just the way I roll with it. So, but I only parallel parked one time properly in my life on my license, and then I never did it again. Never wanted to again. If I can't drive into a space, I'm not doing it. Sorry, not doing it. But anyway. But like I said, you know, and if any of that, you know, made you laugh or, you know, gave you a little sense of humor, I appreciate it. I appreciate you chilling with me. I just wanted to kill a few minutes and just say hi to everybody, let everybody know what I was, you know, because I'm sure people were wondering, is he doing Thanksgiving? Is he doing anything? Yeah, so like I said, I got to pick up Mike's niece at in the city away from me, 2 hours away tomorrow at 7 in the morning. She'll be and then they'll be in town for a week, and we're going to have a, you know, early Thanksgiving with her, and give Mike a chance to see some family, and, you know, it is what it is. So, anyways. But what are you doing for Thanksgiving? I'm reading the chat. Anybody doing anything? Anybody? Oh, Lady Di's in there, China. Oh, just Lady Di's talking. Oh, I see what I did. I'm like, why is nobody typing? Oh, because you're on top chat, you idiot. That's why nobody's chatting. All right. It will help. Hey, Moonlight, how are you? Nasty Nathaniel. I don't know if that's the real Nasty Nathaniel. But anyways. I'm just reading the chat. So like I said, I want to... yeah, interstates are a horse of a different color. Yep. And like I said, I appreciate when Lady Di comes to the room. I really do. So like I said, I know in those other videos when I was talking about the trolls attacking me, and I said Lady Di left the channel, and this one left the channel, and that one left the channel. I was talking about all the shit that happened in 2020 when it comes to me and Lady Di. So, currently, as you can see, Lady Di and I still talk to each other. But I haven't really tried to go on Lady Di's live streams as of late, because the last 3 or 4 times I went on a panel, I got attacked. What I mean by I got attacked is I went on Queen Waspa's live stream, and then the next thing you know, Hillbilly was in there, and then Golden Eyes was in there, and then a few other people were in there, and their number one objective was to overtake the panel and fucking turn it into a shit show, overtake the panel, and twist the narrative until to make it look like Emo's a bad guy. Okay? That's what they do. So that's why I haven't even asked to come on Lady Di's panel lately, because I don't want it to turn into a shit show. I just don't. Lady Di doesn't need a shit show. So out of respect for Lady Di, that's one of the reasons why I kind of stay out of there. It's not that me and her are fighting. It's just that I don't want to come on panel, and then everybody starts dogpiling the panel. Lady Di, how dare you let him up here? And then the next thing you know, it turns into a Jerry Springer-thon. So that's why I don't go to panels anymore like I used to. Now, if she invited me, and I could go if she really wanted me up there. But like I say, I worry about that, Lady Di, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't, actually attempted to come up on the panel, because I just don't want it to turn into a bash emo fest like it does every time I go anywhere else. So, I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Lady Di did a panel. She let Rick Berry on. Okay? She let Rick Berry on. Rick Berry wasn't even on the panel for 2 minutes because she was told that Rick Berry wanted to apologize to Lady Di or something. So she lets Rick Berry on. Within seconds, Blue Eyes jumps up on Lady Di's panel. How dare you allow that pedophile up on your panel, Lady Di? And then the next one came up, 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 and then the next one came up. All because she heard rumor that Rick wanted to apologize to her. So she let Rick up on the panel, and the next thing you know, the whole panel went to fucking shit. And that's why I don't go to Lady Di's channel. Because I don't need Blue Eyes jumping up on there saying, why did you let Emo on? And all my other trolls jumping up there. So that's why I don't... That's the honest reason why I don't go to Lady Di's panel. I'm just clearing the air on that one so everybody knows where I stand with that. But yeah... That was a fucking disaster, Lady Di. That was a disaster. Yep, and you were berated for 2 weeks by Slash in Canada after that. But wait, who's been on this panel? Who was on this panel the last year or so? Slash, right? Oh, you gotta love the hypocrisy of some of these people. Don't you love it, Lady Di? But anyways. But I'm glad you came in there, Lady Di. I just want you to know that that's why I don't come on there. Because the last thing you need is a fucking shit show. You don't need a whole bunch of people dogpiling on you because you let me up there. I appreciate it if you want me up there, but... she's gone through enough. She's gone through enough. Yeah, so Lady Di will probably be on a little bit, but I gotta get back to... Yeah, I know that, Lady Di, but sometimes I've been scared to. But like I'm saying, I'm explaining why I've been scared to because of that reason. You know how if they have a problem with somebody, the dogpiling will just start and the whole channel will just go to disintegrate to madness. And I'm just at the point where I don't want to deal with that anymore. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want to deal with that stuff anymore. You know? You know... I really wasn't going to say this because I don't want to jinx it, but I was just going to say that, and I don't mean this nastily to anybody in the room, but to let you in on a little secret, the way I've been feeling lately is I've been like, Yeah, I'm gonna use YouTube to New Year's Eve, and then once New Year's Eve hits, I'm gonna fucking leave YouTube. I'm just not gonna be I'm just not I'm not gonna say anything to anybody. I'm just gonna disappear and not even be on YouTube. I've actually been thinking about that for the last 4 or 5 weeks. That thought has been in my head to just pick it, pick a date like January 1st and just say, that's it. Turn everything off and just disappear. Of course, I'd still do my Rumble and my BitSuit and all that stuff, but yeah, it's crossed my mind. In the last 3 or 4 in the last month and a half that, I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about just throwing in the towel and leaving the platform at the beginning of the year. I've actually been thinking about it, guys, because I'm just sick of it. And now I'm being shadow banned, okay? This is the latest thing. I'm being shadow banned because I know I'm being shadow banned because I can't find anything on Google on why this is going on. Every time I end the live stream, it takes over 24 hours for the video to show up. Okay? So, and you can tell for a while that YouTube has been fucking with me because, let me put it this way. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I come on YouTube, I do a live stream, right? The video would go up right away. But the live chat replay wouldn't show up for like 8 to 10 hours later. Okay, the live chat replay wouldn't show up to 8 to 10 hours later. But yet Monograph could go live, talk for 2 hours, end his live stream, and within 30 minutes, his video and the chat replay is up. But mine was never that quick. Mine was always delayed. So I'm like, well, maybe people at YouTube are watching my chat because of all the trolls that come in here. Right? I was always wondering why that's delayed. I can go to a Lady Di's stream within an hour and a half after her live stream, and her live chat replay is up. But over the last few years, it would take 8 to 12 hours for my chat replay to show up. Now YouTube is not going to publish the stream for another 24 hours. See? So the people that are not here right now, unless you guys share the link and the trolls pass it around in Discord, this video is not going to be officially uploaded to my channel for 24 hours. YouTube's doing this lately. Processing is going to take up to 24 hours. So that means everybody who watches it within 24 hours from now, all those clicks and views, I don't get the watch time minutes for. During that 24 hours, nobody can leave a comment on the video until it's published. All the times that the trolls pass it around over the next 24 hours and they watch the video over and over and over and they take their pieces out of it and then they publish their version of it. Their version is getting published 8 to 10 hours before mine, so now I can't copyright strike shit because the trolls' version gets put up before mine. And if that ain't shadow banning, I don't know what is. I Googled it. I went to the YouTube help forum, and nobody can tell me why it's taking over 24 hours for my videos to process after doing a live stream. So imagine how Imagine if I was monetized. How screwed I would be getting out of the ad revenue right now. You realize how many people can watch a video in a 24-hour period? And the views are not being counted. And the only ones that can actually see the video are the ones that have the link, because it's technically the way they're doing it, it's like the video's unlisted. So I don't know if that's YouTube's way of fucking with me. I don't know if that's YouTube's way of shadow banning me, but I'm just sick of, I put a video up and it gets no views because it takes 24 hours to process. I'm being shadow banned here. All my stuff is getting age restricted, so nobody's seeing it anyway. And more people are getting kicked off the platform because the AI is stupid that's running the platform. So you go to your subscription page, and there's hardly nothing there under your subscription page. And every time I go to the youtube.com page, the shit that they recommended, a lot of the videos they're recommending to me right now are 2 and 3 years old. Why do I want to watch videos that are 2 and 3 years old? So, my subscription page is broke. YouTube.com is broke. It takes over 24 fucking hours for one of my videos to publish. I'm losing all the clicks and views on that video because it's taking so long. All the people that watch it during that 24-hour period, those clicks and views are not being counted. And then I got to deal with all these trolls up my ass. And with all this going on is why I just want to come January 1st, I just want to go click. That's it. Show's over. Wolf is dead. See ya. That's basically what I want to do. Because I'm just tired of, and then they take the speed control away. They just took the speed control away on YouTube. You can't fast forward it. So now a 4-hour video, you're supposed to sit there and watch it for 4 hours. You can't put it on volume 2 and get it done in 2. I'm just tired of the bugs on the platform. I'm tired of the trolling. Like I said, And if I leave, it's not because the trolls drove me off. It's because I'm getting tired of YouTube and their AI and their broken website, and they're kicking all the good people that I like off the site. They're throwing them off left and right. Sean Porter got thrown off the site. Jersey Watcher got thrown off the site. OBL Nation got thrown off the site, which was a blank catcher. Okay, he got thrown off the site like a half a dozen times. Okay. They are shutting a lot of channels down for stupid stuff. And I'm just burnt out. I'm burnt. I'm burnt out with Google. I'm being honest. It's a Google thing. It's not a troll thing. It's a YouTube and Google thing. I'm just to the point where I'm just sick of it. So I don't know, but I don't know if my channels are going to make it, past the first of the year. I don't know. And I hate to let the cat out of the bag this way, but I was just going to I was going to do a New Year's Eve live stream and then shut everything off and never come on YouTube again. I've been debating that for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Do a YouTube live stream and just disappear. On January 1st because of all the quirks, all the bugs. I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it. It's getting old. It's really getting old. And what YouTube doesn't realize is every time they kick somebody off, like Sean Porter, he's on TikTok now, monetized, making just as much money he did on YouTube. They kicked off the Benghazi Rabbit. He's now on TikTok, monetized, and making more money than he was on YouTube. No, excuse me, not the Benghazi Rabbit. Ron Benghazi. That's the one I meant to say. So there's people that Google is kicking off, and then they're going to other platforms, and they're doing better on other platforms than YouTube. And they don't realize that every time they kick somebody off the platform, they're taking that person's view, the loyal viewers of that channel are going with them. That's what so they're like, oh, Monograph has got 79,000 subs, and we don't like what he's saying, so we'll shut down the Monograph channel. But they don't realize that if Monograph shows up on Rumble or shows up on his own server, they don't realize that those 78,000 people can follow Monograph right over to where he's on the new place. This is what Google doesn't take into consideration. So Lady Di has 999 subs, just to throw a number out there. And they banned Lady Di tonight for some stupid reason. And Lady Di goes to another platform. And all the 999 people leave YouTube and start watching Lady Di on the new place. Does that sound very... They don't realize that when they kick somebody off, they're losing viewers too. They don't realize that. Because everybody who's got Lady Di's is 6. This is the way I can put it. Everybody who's got Lady Di's is 6. If Lady Di gets kicked off of YouTube, Lady Di's is 6 will leave YouTube and go to wherever Lady Di goes next. Because they're her loyal viewers. And Google doesn't think about that. They just think, oh, we don't like this guy, we'll boot him off. They don't think about the viewer side, and every time they do that, they're losing the person's viewers too. They don't realize that. It's also stupid. And I don't mean to be rambling, but it's just all the stuff that I think about. It's on my mind, and I'm just thinking that emo and YouTube in 2026 doesn't sound like a good idea. I'm just being honest. Right now, it's not sounding good, people. It's really not sounding good. Alright, I got more cleaning to do. I gotta get something ready for supper. Lady Di will be on tonight. Lady Di will be on tonight. Hey, there's Blue Eyes. Hi, Blue Eyes. I see you. I see you. I didn't see her at first, but I see her now. Hi, Blue Eyes. I see you. All right. Yeah, and like Lady Di said, a lot of good channels have disappeared. And when those channels disappear, all their viewers are leaving too. Because does anybody remember? I'm sure everybody who's in the room right now remembers Chuck Bronson being part of the auditing community. Do you remember I'm not going to go all the way back to 2020 when we had COVID, because during the COVID days when Chuck Bronson was in there, he was getting 500 to 600 people a night. I'm talking about the 2023 era when he was like in Fort Myers. He was still bringing in, 200 to 300 people in this room a night. Now go look at Chuck Bronson's live streams now. He's bringing in about 100 viewers. So if he's got 100 viewers nowadays, where did the 400 or 500 go that were here watching him during COVID-19? Where did those 400 or 500 viewers miraculously disappear? So think about what channels used to get versus what they get now. And there is a decline in viewership. I see it. Big channels that used to get a couple hundred are now getting, 100, low 90s. They're not getting what they used to do. I can see it for myself. I'm not stupid. Oh, Gordo says I think I said his name wrong. He says you'll be back in a week. All right, so I see Blue Eyes is in there. I appreciate Blue Eyes being in there. All right, so I'm gonna drop out of here and let everybody do. Oh, you have too many medical problems right now? Yep. Oh. But anyways, I appreciate everybody coming in. I don't know, I just wanted to kill a little bit of time. I needed to relax for a few minutes. Now I need to get back to the grind because they're going to be coming in the morning and I need to get the house ready. So that's a great big ball of wax, and I'll see everybody on the next one. So next time, stay safe, be well, take care of yourself and each other. Show's over. Wolf is tired. See you. All right, let me put it this way. I know my buddy Lionel at the end of his Lionel radio show goes, show's over, the monkey's dead, see you. That's how the original adaptation of that goes. But I don't want to die just yet, so I'm not gonna say show's over, wolf is dead, see ya. I'll just say show's over, wolf is tired, see ya. We'll clean it up a little bit. But if you don't know who Lionel is, Lionel Nation is on YouTube. He's also on WABC radio every Monday through Friday at 1 a.m. in the morning. That's right, WABC radio at 1 o'clock in the morning. You can listen to Lionel and you'll hear him say that classic word, the classic line. Show's over, monkey's dead, see ya. If you happen to tune in one morning, just giving Lionel a shout out, but I don't want to say the dead part yet, because I'm not dead, so I'm going to change it a little bit and make it mine, okay? So, that's it. Show's over. Wolf is tired. See you later.